Is there
Recording clerk's ready? Okay. We'll call the meeting of the Lancaster County Correctional Facility Joint Public Agency to order for Tuesday, May 26th. A copy of the open meeting ordinance is located at the rear of this hearing room, and we'll begin by asking for approval of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Are there any additions or corrections? If not, the minutes will go ahead and call the roll, please.
Sure. Fellers,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Item 2 is election of officers.
And typically, we have alternated the offices, and if the chair was from the county board, well, then we usually had the vice chair from the city council, which Mr. Emery did assume that position. And then traditionally, the chair of the has been the county chairman of the board, which I was for the last 2 years, and now in January, Roma is the chair, and I'm the vice chair. So
Right, and we held off the elections the last meeting because I think it was Doug's last one heading out, and so we kind of just kept Larry as the chair, and Doug was the vice chair, and we just kind of waited to hold the elections until this month.
So, Mr. Meyer, would you, I will not be a candidate for any office, sir, so I guess the procedure would be to open the floor up for nominations.
Right.
Okay. Are there nominations for chair of the Lancaster County Joint?
You want to do it? I nominate Roma.
I would second that motion. Are there other nominations? Other nominations? Other nominations? If not, let's have a vote on Roma becoming the chair of the Joint Public Agency for the Lancaster County Corrections Facility. Would you call the roll, please?
Fellers,
Yes.
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, Madam Chair, would you like to assume, or you want me to finish the election?
Why don't you just finish this one out?
Okay. And then for vice chair of the JPA, are there nominations?
Trent?
Sure. So easy with 3 people.
I move that Trent be the vice chair.
And I would second that motion. Are there other nominations? Other nominations? Any other nominations? If not, we close nominations, and Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Hudkins,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Fellers.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, then as we move on to the next item, well, I will turn it over to Chairman Amundson.
Okay, well, let's go on with the approval of all the claims that have been processed through May 19th, 2015. And we have the, let's see, we have the.
Dennis could probably run through them for
If you
you.
would run through those.
Right,
first.
so the list of claims that I've sent out, and I'll just kind of remind everybody kind of what has changed over the last couple times we met. We used to meet on a monthly basis, really to really approve each month's claims. Last time we met was our first quarterly meeting, so this is our second quarterly meeting. And what we have done is we've included on the list of claims any purchase orders that that Mike has gotten out there that we have not received the actual piece of equipment or whatever we're trying to purchase, but we want to include it on here so that over the 3 months that we don't meet, if we receive that piece of equipment, then we're able to actually make payment, because some of the companies really don't like, if we walk out of here today, Mike gets that piece of equipment this afternoon, then we've got a 3-month period. So when you look at the list that I've got on here, the 3 items up there are all purchase orders that we've got. The one to Husker Auto Group is for a van, and that was also presented in February. We have not received the van yet, so we have not made payment yet. I would assume, do we have an estimated date for something like that?
Hi, yeah, Mike Thurber, County Board.
And this
Yeah.
will be a transport prisoner van?
Yes, this is a transport vehicle, so it is a different type of vehicle that had to be ordered. So they're saying we may not receive that until late summer, but it has been just the process on that.
You have the price locked in?
That's locked in. That you've proved that, like Dennis said, in February, so
Right.
that will not be there.
I'm just gonna, everything that you've seen but we haven't received, I'm just gonna carry it so that we know that's still out there. The next one is for some riot gear that was also approved in February. We have not received that yet either. And then the new one that is on here, and that's still a PO, and that's to Midwest Turf and Irrigation, and that is for a lawnmower that we haven't received. But we've jumped through, we've got the PO, we've got the dollar amount, we just have not actually received the document
So
or the actual piece of
So
equipment.
those are just gonna be carried on.
We're going to carry them on. We want you to see what we've got sitting out there so that if we receive it,
Pay for it.
then we can make payment. The only payment that we'll actually make today is the last one on there, which is our interest payment to Wells Fargo on our bonds.
With that explanation, I would move that we approve the claims.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the claims. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Hudgens,
Yes.
Fellers,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Next item on the agenda is discussion on the 605 building and the use of construction funds.
Okay.
Oh.
And Dennis?
Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to address this item. The next meeting that we will have, which will be in August, the board will need to make a decision on some of these construction funds that we have left. Over our time period, we have collected about $1.1 million in interest as we've gone through. That money is sitting there because we've really, the $65 million number that we had out there was really kind of what we needed. So we've got about this 1.1 million left over that we need to make a decision on what are we going to do with that. We're going to have two different options. I've talked to Mike Rogers, our bond counsel, and asked him the question about whether that 1.1 million could be moved over to cover cost of the Sallyport construction over in the 605 building. And Mike went back and took a look at that to see if that met the definition of the project for the bonds that were issued, and he came back and said that he felt that it did.
Good.
We've also had conversations a little bit with the mayor's office. The mayor wasn't able to be here today, so we kind of wanted to push the decision off until all four of the board members could make their decision. But it's either apply it to the Sallyport construction or roll it in to the payment of the principal and interest on bonds. So those will be the two options that I'll just ask the board to think about so that when we come to our August meeting, we can make the decision.
And so a decision at the August meeting will be good enough?
Yes.
And Roma and I do have a monthly meeting with the mayor, and we'll need to put that on the agenda to fully discuss that with him. But it would seem to me, since we have to transport the prisoners from the correctional facility to here in order to feed them into the courts, that there is a definite connection, and we have to keep them secure while they're in there. So I would think that would be a good use, and I would concur with bond counsel.
Well, like I said, you've got the two options. I wanted to throw it out. Come August, we'll make that decision, and then it will be rolled one way or the other.
What's the interest rate on that bond?
That's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't remember.
think it's under 3 if my memory
Yeah,
serves
it
me.
is under 3. It's probably 2 3/4 or something like that.
273 runs in
Yeah.
my mind, but don't hold me to it.
Right.
I know we were very pleased with it when we got it that time.
Yeah, I mean, it was when we got into it, it was kind of the perfect timing.
And for Trent's edification, by using a JPA and using the city's credit rating, public building credit rating, and the county's credit rating, it helped bring that up so we would get a lower interest rate. So that was the reason for the JPA.
So anyway, I'll bring that again in front of you next meeting. So I just kind of wanted to throw those couple options out to you so you can think about it. And if you would like, I could maybe see if Mike could be here.
That would be good. Yeah.
Just so that you can
Have
kind
it
of
on
hear
the
it
record
from,
of his recommendation.
so,
Okay, well, thank you, Dennis.
yeah.
I guess the next is public comment. Nope. Is there anything that you would like to say, Mike?
Well, usually I give you an update of what we're doing right
Yes.
now. We, again, had a 3-day weekend we just came off of, and there's no court arraignment on yesterday. So today we're at 578. We met with the county board at budget time. We were at 540, 42, 43. So we're starting to see the summer, the beginning of summer, growth in population, and we're trying to monitor as much as we can. We right now have probably in the last 2 weeks probably a record number of female offenders. Right now we're at 120, 115.
Did you have to open JPOD?
No, we had it ready if we did, but did not have to,
Good,
to
good,
break
good.
into that. And we may still do that because if you get into the point where you're really at maximum capacity at iPod, you do have your discipline seg in there. Sometimes it's good to get some of those out. So you might split that and maybe run that down to 30 and open JPOD. But again, that's just an added expense you don't want to go to unless you're forced into that. And for safety issues, it's probably better to go ahead and open that if you're at maximum capacity with females. We are still working. Appreciate Dennis giving the update on any type of pieces of equipment that we're using JPA for. And so if you receive it after this meeting, then that gives Dennis the authority to go ahead and cut the PO. We are looking at also working on some kitchen equipment, doing just regular maintenance, still working on some ditch work out there on the grounds, but other than that, we're in really good shape in that area. We will be coming to the board asking for some more cameras for our DEC building and the warehouse, so we can have some eyes on that facility when we start using that. We took over the grounds maintenance this year, so the extended warranty or extended maintenance is over, and so we are doing that right now, and adding with some of the larger equipment to mow the bigger areas, and then we are off of the city's Parks and Rec equipment, buying another mower for the big grounds, so we can take care of that. So I think we're in good shape in that area. We're learning a lot about landscaping, what to prune and what not to prune, and using the offenders in our weeding process and taking care of the landscaping so we can take care of that piece of property for you.
Are some of the inmates doing that work and learning some of that?
Yeah,
or-
well, yes, we're using them primarily right now in the weeding, but we're still trying to work. This is our first time with the equipment, so all of our maintenance staff are operating that.
Okay.
But we do see them, eventually in the weed eating and the blowers and trimming, things of that nature. We'll be working on that, and that's what part of that the warehouse spot was for. So we'll be working in that regards.
Larry?
Well, you've had a very fortunate year. You don't have to water things so far, but knowing that we've received half of our annual rainfall in May, you can watch out for July and August. But you do have things looking nice out there. I was out there last week. And could you give us an update on the viaduct from a city engineering standpoint?
What we've seen so far is, I know that when they had the roads closed, they did open that for a little bit to let people come under that work. So that was good for them to have that outlet. It looks like to me most of the girders are up. They have told us at Christmas that they should be could be turned over and done. So we'll hope that this water hasn't slowed it down, and we do have, the wetlands are in the back there, and so they have water that moves that way. I think they've found a way of diverting that a little bit so they can continue, but I don't think their construction is on the ground now. It's all up on the top deck side at this point. That's what I see right now is Christmas.
And everything in the facilities working, the air systems and...
Right. We, as we said, we're working on some, working with Cleveland and our food service architect regarding some equipment and working on extended warranties in that area. We will be working with Accurate Control. We do have, 20 plus DVRs, and so we're making sure that we can either repair those or have backups as they start to go out, because they do run anywhere from 16 to 17 cameras that does the recording out there. So the technology is really good, and the JPA has been really helpful in letting us design that into the facility, but that all that has some lifespan on it, and so we're going to watch that and see how it works. But I think on working with DEC, I mean, Dennis and I are still talking with, we'll be talking to DEC more about the demand charges and getting more information on how they structure that for the future. We do have our diesel generators out there for backup power. They go through those testing as well. Those are working well, so we've been real pleased. They have had people come in and actually from other states look at how they can do a city-county joint public project like this, because some of the jurisdictions just don't see that working as well, and they're saying, how do you get the county and the city and then this third party, a DEC or LES, put that together? And they've been talking to the attorneys as well as their counsel on how they could probably take that back to their city, because they'd like to see that on big public projects and schools, those buildings being able to use the ability of ground coupled systems.
And give us a little update on the floors.
Everything at this point is doing fine. We have, I think we talked to you in the last board meeting. We did replace some tile with some surface seal, some like kitchen flooring, which I think is going to pay dividends in being able to maintain that. We may be looking at that in some of the showers as well, where they did not use that product, but that's just things that we did not plan in there. But I believe so far the floors are doing well. Our maintenance staff, we do contract with Public Building Commission, so they help us with the floors, and then we use offenders and the floors that they can do. Inmates are walking those floors with the machines, and I think we've done a good job in maintaining that tile. That is more labor intense than concrete, but I think anytime you come out and tour, you can see that we're keeping those floors in good shape. But
And on the concrete floors, the pinning process apparently has got everything stable?
I would report to you right now that everything's is the same as it was when they completed the process, and we'll be probably running floor scrubbing equipment over the concrete floors here this summer, and to see how that comes out as well. But it's working the way it should be right now.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's see, we have the setting for the next meeting is August the 25th, and I guess
Right, and that will also be the budget hearing and all
Okay.
of that. So, so we'll have that. I'll get the budget and stuff out to you and all that, but that will be our next quarterly meeting.
Okay, with that, I'd move adjournment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Please call the roll.
Fellers,
Yes.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.